to today's call on operators as part of the project team, a project manager perspective. My name is Adelan, and I will be your host. And today we have special speaker Morley Selver. Let me just tell you a little bit about Morley Selver and some of his background. Morley Selver has over 30 years of real-world plant project engineering experience. He's earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Civil Engineering in 1973 and has over 30 years of experience in industrial plant project engineering. He has worked in industry with and for consultants and his own consulting business. His project experience includes operations and maintenance, research and development, project management of small to medium-sized plant projects, construction management of large industrial projects, mechanical installation of heavy industrial equipment, commissioning and startup of industrial plants, and plant management. He has worked in Canada and the USA in operating pulp, paper mills, oil and gas projects, terminals and pipelines on North Slope oil projects, board plants, and in the recycling industry. He is currently working in the oil and gas consulting business. Morley is also a successful author of many books and DVDs, which includes Capital Project Cost Control, Plant Project Engineering Guidebook for Mechanical and Civil Engineers, and his Certified EPC Project Management Self-Study Kit, just to name a couple. Now, having said as much, I am very happy to have someone with such vast experience such as Morley joining us today. Morley, I do want to thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule to join us, as I know you're a very busy person. And without further ado, I will just pass it on to you.
Good day. Welcome to this webinar, Operators as Part of the Project Team, a Project Management Perspective. This picture here shows two steam turbine electrical generators that had to be demolished as part of a project. And when we started looking at this, it seemed rather simple. However, when we dug into it, it became a bit more difficult. What we found out was that the cooling water supply, the cooling water return, and condensate return lines did not have isolation valves at the header. There were isolation valves at ground level, but that was it. And the refinery wanted to put another piece of equipment in this location, so all the piping had to be removed from the turbines right back up into the rafters where the headers were located. The approved standard process to be able to isolate these lines was to shut down the header, install isolation valves, and start up the header again. This would require the powerhouse and the refinery to be shut down, which was not going to happen. The other options we had were to either crimp or freeze the lines. These were non-standard processes that had to go through a long approval process in the refinery. We ended up freezing the lines and installing isolation valves. However, it took us about 6 months to get management approval for doing this work. This was the last project where management would allow crimping or freezing to isolate the lines. Now, as Angela mentioned, I've been doing project management in industrial applications for over 30 years, and I've never worked with operators that would allow us to install lines without being able to isolate them. There are other isolation issues in the refinery, which indicates that operators were not involved in the design of the plant. With designers, what typically happens is they do not get feedback on the designs and continue to make the same errors over and over again. If operations are involved at the very beginning and work with the designers, these errors are taken care of. This is what I want to talk about in this webinar, the need for operators on your project team and their responsibilities to your project. This is especially important on large EPC projects where operators' involvement can be minimal, leading to future problems like the one mentioned above. There's different cases of operator involvement on your projects. We have ones where operations work with design and they just operate the facility. But then we have other places where we have a remote facility, and there the operator is involved in the design, and they might look after construction management for you, and they operate the facility. And then in other cases, again, for remote spots, we have operators work at the design, but they look after the inspection for you and as well as operating. So you have these three different types of cases.